My dear friends, in today's world, being available is easy. Everybody is available, online, on calls, on messages. With just one click, we can be reached. But the real question is, are we valuable? Availability is about presence. A value is about purpose. Availability is about showing up. Value is about showing worth. Think about it. If you go to a shop and everything is there, shelves full, racks full, but nothing has value, will you ever buy anything from there? No, you will just walk away. Similarly in life, if we are just there, but not offering anything meaningful, people will come into our lives and quietly walk out. Let me give you a small example. Imagine you are in school. The teacher is available every day, but one teacher who explains the subject in such a way that you remember it for life becomes valuable. Years later, you don't remember the timetable, but you remember that teacher. Why? Because they were not just available in class, they were valuable to your growth. This is true in relationships as well. Many times people say, I'm always there for you, but being there is not enough. What if I'm there but I'm not supportive, not uplifting, not inspiring? Presence without positivity is like food without taste. You can eat it, but you won't enjoy it. My friends, don't confuse being busy with being valuable. Some people are busy the whole day, but achieve nothing. And some, in just 1 hour, create an impact that lasts a lifetime. Value is not in how much time you give, it is in what you bring into that time. Once a young man came to me and said, Swamiji, I am always available for my friends, but when I need them, no one is there. I told him, my dear, availability is cheap. Value is rare. If you make yourself valuable, people will not forget you. They may not call you daily, but when they remember you, it will be with respect, with gratitude, with love. Look at a diamond. It is not available everywhere. You don't find it lying on the streets. It is rare, and that's why it is valuable. Sand is available everywhere, but who talks about sand? My dear friends, don't live like sand. Live like a diamond. Rare, valuable, precious. But here's the catch. Value is not about being selfishly rare. Value is about making others' lives richer because of your presence. A candle doesn't say, look, I am bright. It just gives light. And in that light, people see their path. That is value. In the same way, be someone whose presence brings peace, whose words bring hope, and whose actions bring solutions. That is value. So, how do we become valuable? Not by money, not by position, not by power. We become valuable by character, compassion, competence, and contribution. When you walk into a room, don't just bring your body. Bring your energy. Bring your wisdom. Bring your kindness. That's when people will say, this person is not just here, this person matters. Availability is about being reachable. Value is about being unforgettable. Remember, my friends, when people think of you, they should not just say, oh, he was there. They should say, because of him, my life became better. So let us live in such a way that our presence is not counted in hours but in impact. Let us be valuable, not just available. In life, we often confuse being there with being valuable. It is very easy to be available. Anyone can pick up their phone and be present on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, or at a family gathering. But ask yourself, does your presence really make a difference? Does it bring any impact, any growth? or any inspiration to others. Being available may win you temporary attention, but being valuable wins you lifelong respect. Imagine two friends. One is always hanging around, always free, always present. But when you are in pain, when you are struggling, they don't know what to say, they don't know how to help, they don't know how to uplift you. On the other side, you may have a friend who doesn't meet you every day, maybe not even every month. But whenever you meet them, they listen with their heart, they guide you, they make you feel understood. Who do you think you'll value more? Not the one who is just around, but the one who is worth remembering. This is true in our professional life as well. In every office, there are people who come on time, sit on their desks, and spend hours in front of the computer. They are available the whole day. But what happens when the boss looks for promotion? He doesn't look for the one who just sat there for hours. He looks for the one who added value through ideas, through leadership, through creativity, through results. The clock does not make you valuable. Contribution does. Let me give you a very simple daily life example. Think of your mobile phone. You can have a phone that is always available in your hand, but if it cannot connect to the internet, if the apps don't work, if the camera is broken, you won't value it. You might even throw it away. On the other hand, a phone that works smoothly, even if you don't use it every moment, feels valuable because it supports your needs. In the same way, human beings are valued not because they are constantly there, but because they add meaning to someone's life. Parents often complain that their children are busy and not always available. But when those same children show small acts of value, like spending quality time, listening, helping in difficulties, the parents' hearts melt. It's not about how long you sit in front of them. It's about how much love, care, and value you bring in that short time. Even in marriages, many people stay in the same house, under the same roof. They are available 24 hours, but still one partner feels lonely. Why? Because presence without attention, presence without empathy, presence without care is an empty presence. It's like sitting in front of food that has no taste. What makes the relationship valuable is not just living together, but giving together, understanding, patience, and encouragement. Look at the life of great personalities. Was Mahatma Gandhi available everywhere? Was Mother Teresa seen in every place? No, they were rare. But wherever they went, they added immense value. Gandhi added value to the freedom of a nation. Mother Teresa added value to the lives of the poorest of the poor. That's why, even today, we remember them, not because they were always available everywhere, but because wherever they went, they left behind footprints of value. Another simple thought: a book sitting on your shelf is available to you every day. But unless you open it, read it, and learn from it, it adds no value. A wise mentor, however, even if you meet them once a year, can say one sentence that can change the direction of your life. This is the difference between availability and value. So, how do we practice this? Instead of focusing only on being present everywhere, we must focus on what we bring when we are present. If you attend a meeting, don't just sit there, add one valuable idea. If you meet a friend, don't just spend hours gossiping, share something inspiring, encourage them, listen to their struggles. If you spend time with your family, Don't just be around, be emotionally connected. Being valuable requires effort, thought, and heart. It means asking yourself, am I just showing up or am I showing worth? Am I just present or am I making a difference? The truth is, anyone can be available. Even a chair in the corner of your room is available. But it cannot inspire you, guide you, or change your life. People will not remember you for the hours you sat in front of them. They will remember you for the moments when your words healed them, when your presence uplifted them, and when your actions inspired them. My friends, let us not live like objects that are simply present. Let us live like lights that shine meaningfully. Let us choose to be diamonds, rare, precious, and valuable, rather than sand that is everywhere but overlooked. Because at the end of the day, availability may make you noticed for a while, but value will make you unforgettable forever. When we look back on our school days, many memories fade away. We may forget the daily schedule, the noise of the classroom, or even the subjects we struggled with. But one thing always remains clear in our hearts: the teachers who touched our lives in a special way. We don't remember every teacher, though all of them were available, present in front of us almost every day. We remember only those who made a difference, those who added value, those who left a mark on our hearts and minds. Think of this. In every class, the teacher was there, standing by the blackboard, taking attendance, going through the chapters. They were all available. But can you recall all their names today? Probably not. Then why do we clearly remember one or two teachers even after decades? Because those few were not just available, they were valuable. There was always that one teacher who explained a difficult concept in such a simple way that it became unforgettable. Maybe it was a math teacher who made numbers come alive, or a science teacher who made experiments feel magical, or a literature teacher who made you fall in love with stories. That teacher didn't just complete the syllabus. They lit a spark inside you. They showed you that learning could be joyful, meaningful, and transformative. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine two teachers. The first comes into class every day, opens the textbook, reads it out, writes notes on the board, and leaves. They are present daily. But years later, do you remember anything special about them? Now think about the second teacher. They come to class, smile at you, ask how you're doing, crack a small joke, make you feel comfortable, and then teach in such a way that even the most difficult topic suddenly feels simple. Years later, you may have forgotten the details of the subject, but you'll never forget the way they made you feel. That is value. Availability can be seen with the eyes, but value is felt with the heart. In fact, many of us carry gratitude for such teachers for the rest of our lives. When we achieve something big, when we stand on a stage, or when we look back at our journey, we often remember them. We may say, because of that teacher, I never gave up, or that one teacher believed in me when nobody else did. Notice this carefully. Every teacher was there, but the one who believed in you, that's the one who is still alive in your memory. This principle applies far beyond classrooms. In life, you will meet many people, colleagues, neighbors, relatives, who are around, but you'll only remember those who were valuable to your journey. Just like valuable teachers, valuable people are those who guide, inspire, and support you in ways that you never forget. Let's take another perspective. Suppose you had a teacher who scolded you not to humiliate you, but to bring out the best in you. At that time, you may have disliked them. You may have thought, why are they so strict? But later, you realize that their discipline gave you strength, their correction shaped your character. Now, when you look back, you don't remember the scolding, you remember the value they added to your life. Some teachers teach lessons for exams, others teach lessons for life. Those who taught you honesty, hard work, resilience, kindness, they were the ones who truly gave you something beyond marks, something that shaped your identity. And it's not surprising that decades later, you still talk about them with respect. Think about this in your own role in life. Each of us, in some way, is a teacher to someone. Maybe you are a parent teaching your child. Maybe you are a leader guiding your team. Maybe you are simply a friend helping another friend. Ask yourself, are you just available, like a teacher reading a textbook? Or are you valuable, like the teacher who makes learning unforgettable? This is why people say, a good teacher explains, a better teacher inspires, but the best teacher transforms. Transformation comes from value. Anyone can explain, anyone can read a book. But to touch a heart, to awaken a soul, that requires value. And what is the greatest gift a teacher gives? It's not just knowledge, it's confidence. The teacher who told you, you can do it, gave you more than information. They gave you belief in yourself. That belief is what stays with you forever. So, my dear friends, just like we don't remember every teacher, but only the valuable ones, let us also choose to live in such a way that people don't just remember us as someone who was there. Let us be remembered as someone who added meaning, who made a difference, who inspired growth. Years from now, when someone speaks about you, may they say, that person was like a teacher to me. They didn't just show up, they showed me the way. Because being available makes you seen, but being valuable makes you unforgettable. When we think of relationships, whether it's family, friends, or marriage, we often assume that just being present is enough. We say things like, I am always there for you, as if that alone can make the bond strong. But my dear friends, presence without value is like food without flavor, like a flower without fragrance. It may look good on the outside, but it fails to touch the heart. What truly nourishes a relationship is not mere presence, but the value you bring through love, care, support, positivity, and inspiration. Take the example of two friends. One is available all the time. You can call them, meet them, hang out with them whenever you want. But when you are broken, when you are discouraged, when you are struggling with life's challenges, they don't know what to say. Their words don't comfort you. Their actions don't uplift you. They are present but not valuable. On the other hand, you may have another friend who is not around every day. Maybe they are busy with their career. Maybe they live far away. But whenever you talk to them, they speak with depth. Their words encourage you. Their presence fills you with hope. Even if you meet them once in a while, they leave an imprint on your heart. Which friend do you think you'll carry in your heart for life? It will always be the one who adds value, not the one who is just physically present. This truth is visible in families as well. A father may be home every evening, but if he sits silently on the sofa with no interest in his children's lives, his presence feels empty. A mother may be busy in the same house, but if her attention is constantly on her phone or television, her children feel disconnected. Yet, a father who spends 10 minutes asking, "How was your day?" and a mother who listens with her heart, those 10 minutes create more value than hours of silent availability. Relationships thrive not on the quantity of time, but on the quality of connection. Marriage is another example. Two people may live under the same roof, sleep in the same bed, and still feel oceans apart. Physical closeness does not guarantee emotional closeness. A spouse may say, "I'm always here, I never leave," but if their presence lacks understanding, care, and emotional support, the relationship weakens. True love is not measured by how often you are around each other, but by how deeply you add value to one another's lives. A smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an encouraging gesture. These small acts of value create bonds that no amount of silent presence can ever build. Let us take a very simple image: a chair in your room. It is always there, it is always available. But unless you sit on it and feel comfort, it doesn't serve much purpose. Compare that to a friend who may not be around every day, but who comforts your heart when you need it most. Which one will you truly value? That is the difference between availability and value in relationships. Another example, think of grandparents. They may not always be with us physically, but the lessons, the stories, the wisdom they share, these remain with us forever. Their words become our guiding light in moments of darkness. This is why, even after they are gone, we remember them with love and respect. Because their presence was not just physical, it was deeply valuable. Even in friendships, you don't need 100 people around you. You need one or two who add real value. A friend who stops you when you are going down the wrong path is far more valuable than 10 friends who silently watch you destroy yourself. A friend who motivates you to chase your dreams is far more valuable than 100 who only gossip with you. Value, not number, creates real bonds. When we look at history, the same principle applies. Krishna was not with Arjuna all his life. He wasn't available every day. But when Arjuna stood confused on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna gave him the Bhagavad Gita, wisdom that guided him not only in that moment, but for eternity. That single act of value was more powerful than years of availability. This is why Arjuna remembered Krishna not just as a companion, but as the most valuable presence in his life. So, what do our relationships need? They don't need us to always be present without purpose. They need our presence with value. A child doesn't just need a parent at home, they need a parent who listens, who guides, who inspires. A spouse doesn't just need a partner in the same room, they need love, understanding, encouragement. A friend doesn't just need company, they need positivity, honesty, and support. My dear friends, remember this. People may forget how many times you were there, but they will never forget how you made them feel. If you gave them strength when they were weak, hope when they were broken, and joy when they were sad, they will carry your value in their hearts forever. Relationships are not built on the length of time we spend with each other. They are built on the depth of value we add to each other's lives. So let us not aim to be always there, without meaning. Let us aim to be there in such a way that our presence becomes unforgettable, our support becomes priceless, and our love becomes timeless. In today's world, everyone seems busy. We often hear people say, "I am so busy, I have no time." In fact, some even wear business like a badge of honor, as if being busy automatically makes them important or valuable. But if we pause and look deeply, we realize something very important. Being busy is not the same as being valuable. A person can be busy the entire day yet achieve nothing meaningful, while another can spend just one focused hour and create an impact that lasts a lifetime. It is not the amount of time we give, but the quality, intention, and value we bring into that time that truly matters. Think of it like this. Imagine two students preparing for an exam. The first one spends 12 hours with the books open, but most of that time is spent staring at pages, scrolling on the phone, or daydreaming. The second student spends only 4 hours, but studies with complete focus, understanding every concept clearly. When the results come, who do you think will score better? Not the one who was busier, but the one who was effective. This is the difference between activity and productivity, between availability of time and true value of time. In our workplaces, this difference becomes very visible. You may know someone who stays late in the office every day, showing they are hardworking. But if you look closely, you'll see they spend most of their time in unnecessary meetings, endless emails, or idle gossip. On the other hand, there's someone who comes in, finishes their work with excellence, contributes creative solutions, and leaves on time. At the end of the month, whose contribution does the company truly value? Not the one who sat the longest, but the one who brought the most value in the least time. This principle applies to relationships too. A parent may spend all day at home with their children, but remain glued to their phone or television. The child sees them physically, but emotionally they are absent. Another parent may spend just an hour with their child, but during that time they play, talk, listen, and show love. The child grows up remembering not the hours spent together, but the moments of value. Love is not measured in minutes, it is measured in meaning. Even in spiritual life, this truth shines. You may sit for hours in prayer, chanting, or rituals, but if your heart is distracted, if your mind is elsewhere, that time doesn't transform you. On the other hand, someone may pray for only 10 minutes with full sincerity and devotion, and those 10 minutes can change their entire day. It is not the length of prayer that matters, it is the depth of connection. Let's take a simple daily life example of food. You may eat a plate full of empty calories, chips, sweets, fried snacks, and still feel hungry after an hour. On the other hand, a small bowl of nourishing soup or salad may fill you with energy and strength for hours. It's not about how much food you eat, but what kind of food you eat. In the same way, it's not about how much time you give, but what kind of value you put into that time. Sometimes we confuse being busy with being useful. A fly buzzing around a room is very busy. It is constantly moving, constantly active. But does it add any value? Not at all. In fact, it becomes an irritation. Compare that to a honeybee. It is busy too, but its busyness creates sweetness, nourishment, and beauty for the world. The question to ask ourselves is, are we busy like the fly or valuable like the bee? We can also see this in friendships. You may have a friend who spends hours with you, but most of the time is wasted in gossip, complaining, or negativity. Then you have another friend who may meet you for just 30 minutes, but leaves you inspired, motivated, and smiling. Who will you value more? Clearly, the one who gave you less time, but more meaning. Great leaders and achievers also understood this. Take someone like Abraham Lincoln. He didn't have endless time with every person, but whenever he met someone, he gave them his full attention, his full presence, his full heart. That is why people who met him even once felt deeply impacted. He was not busy being everywhere. He was valuable wherever he was. My dear friends, in the end, life is not a race to see who can stay the busiest. If business were value, then ants would be the most valuable creatures on earth. But what truly counts is impact, meaning, and contribution. People will not remember how many hours you worked, how many calls you answered, or how many tasks you rushed through. They will remember how you made a difference in their life, how you inspired them, how you helped them grow. So let us not get trapped in the illusion of business. Instead, let us focus on bringing value. When you work, don't just fill the hours, fill the work with creativity, sincerity, and excellence. When you spend time with loved ones, don't just be physically present. Be emotionally available, supportive, and loving. When you pray, don't just go through motions. Connect deeply with your heart. Remember, this time is a container, but value is the content. A large container with nothing inside is useless. A small container filled with gold is priceless. In the same way, a life filled with countless hours of activity but no value is empty. A life with fewer hours but full of meaning is truly rich. It's not how much time you live, but how much life you put into your time that defines your worth. Be valuable, not just busy. If you walk along a beach, you will see endless grains of sand. They are everywhere, beneath your feet, between your toes, stretching as far as your eyes can see. But do you ever stop to pick up a grain of sand and treasure it? No, because sand is common, ordinary, and always available. Now imagine someone places a diamond in front of you. It is small. It doesn't cover the whole land like sand, but your eyes instantly notice it. You guard it, you value it, you treasure it. Why? Because the diamond is rare. Its rarity gives it value. Its uniqueness makes it unforgettable. This simple comparison teaches us something profound about life. Many people live like sand, everywhere, easily available, following the crowd, blending in so much that no one even notices their presence. But some people live like diamonds, rare in character, unique in contribution, shining with qualities that cannot be ignored. And just like diamonds, they are remembered, respected, and treasured. Let's think about our daily life. In your school days, you may have had dozens of classmates. You saw them every day, sat with them, laughed with them. They were like sand, always around you. But years later, do you remember every classmate? Probably not. You may only remember one or two who stood out because they were different. Maybe because of their kindness, their talent, their leadership, or the way they supported you. They were the diamonds among the sand. In the workplace too, this truth is visible. An office may have hundreds of employees. Many come work and go unnoticed. They are available, but not valuable. But then there is one colleague who brings innovative ideas, who supports others, who leads with integrity. That person becomes the diamond everyone respects and remembers. Their contribution makes them rare. Even in friendships, we see this contrast. You may have dozens of people who message you, hang out with you, and spend time with you. But when you are in real trouble, who shines? Not the crowd, but that one friend who stands by you, who lifts you up, who gives you hope. That friend is like the diamond, rare, precious, valuable, while the rest are like sand, simply there but not remembered. The same applies in families. Many relatives may surround you in gatherings, talking, laughing, being present. But only a few will be the ones who leave an imprint on your heart. Maybe a grandmother who told you wise stories, an uncle who guided you when you were lost, or a sibling who supported you through your struggles. They may not be around you all the time, but the value they add makes them shine like diamonds in your memory. Now let's take an example from nature. Sand is everywhere, but it cannot cut glass. It cannot adorn jewelry. It cannot be passed down as a legacy. A diamond, though small, has the power to cut the hardest glass, decorate crowns, and be passed on from one generation to the next. In the same way, a life lived like sand, without uniqueness, without depth, may fill space but does not leave impact. A life lived like a diamond, rare in quality, strong in character, becomes a legacy. Look at history. There were millions of people alive during the time of great leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, or Mahatma Gandhi. Most were like sand, present but unnoticed. Yet these leaders, like diamonds, stood out with courage, integrity, and vision. That is why decades later, we still speak their names with reverence. They were not everywhere, but wherever they stood, their value sparkled. But here's something important to remember. A diamond does not become valuable instantly. It is formed deep under the earth, under pressure, in darkness, over thousands of years. Similarly, if we want to become like diamonds, we must go through challenges, endure difficulties, and allow life's pressures to shape us. Sand is easy, common, and effortless. Diamonds require time, patience, and transformation. That is why diamonds are treasured and sand is ignored. In our daily choices, we must ask ourselves, am I living like sand, everywhere but unnoticed, common but forgettable? Or am I striving to live like a diamond, rare in my compassion, strong in my values, unique in my contribution? Consider a candle in a room full of light. You may not notice it. But place that same candle in a room of darkness, and suddenly it becomes valuable. Likewise, if you are just like everyone else, blending in, you may go unnoticed. But if you bring light where there is darkness, kindness where there is cruelty, honesty where there is corruption, hope where there is despair, you will shine like a diamond in the eyes of others. Remember also that diamonds are not valued because they are big, they are valued because they are rare. In the same way, your value is not measured by how many places you are present, how many people you meet, or how much noise you make. Your value is measured by how rare your qualities are, your integrity, your kindness, your wisdom, your courage. So, my dear friends, don't live like sand, spread everywhere but forgotten. Live like a diamond, rare, precious, and unforgettable. People may walk on sand without noticing it, but when they see a diamond, they stop, admire, and treasure it. Don't strive to be everywhere, strive to be valuable. For in the end, Life does not measure how available you were, but how valuable you became. If you walk into a dark room, the first thing you do is search for light. Even a small candle, fragile and flickering, has the power to transform that entire room. Suddenly, what was hidden becomes visible. The fear of darkness disappears. The atmosphere changes, not because the candle shouted, "Look at me, I am glowing," but because it quietly did what it was meant to do, give light. This is the beauty of a candle. It does not shine for its own ego, it shines to serve. It gives of itself so that others may see clearly. That is the essence of true value in life, not in dazzling for our own attention, but in lighting the paths of others. Many people in this world shine for themselves. They gather wealth, they display beauty, they show power, they post achievements on social media. They may look bright, but their light does not guide anyone. It is like a neon sign flashing loudly in the night, visible but not useful. On the other hand, there are people whose presence brings comfort, whose words give hope, whose actions help others find their way. They may not be loud, but they are valuable because, like a candle, they make a difference in someone else's darkness. Think of a teacher who takes time after class to sit with a struggling student. Nobody else may notice, but that one act can light up the future of the child. Think of a friend who stays awake with you during your lowest night, saying nothing but holding your hand. That presence becomes the candle in your darkness. Think of a doctor who spends an extra minute speaking kindly to a patient, giving reassurance beyond medicine. That kindness becomes light in the midst of pain. These are people who live like candles, quietly but powerfully valuable. A candle does not ask, "Who is watching me?" or "Will I get applause?" It simply burns, and in burning, it sacrifices itself so that others can see. In the same way, true value often comes with sacrifice. A mother stays awake countless nights with her newborn, giving up her sleep so that the child rests peacefully. A father works hard, often unnoticed, to provide for his family. Great leaders put aside their own comfort to fight for justice and freedom. Their light came at the cost of their comfort, but that is why it became so valuable. Now let us think of our own daily lives. Sometimes we think, "I am too small. What difference can I make?" But remember, even a tiny candle can light up a room of darkness. You don't have to change the whole world at once. If you can bring light into one person's life, you have already added value. A kind word to someone discouraged, a smile to someone lonely, an act of honesty in a corrupt place, a helping hand to someone struggling. These may feel small, but they are sparks of light in the lives of others. There is also a beautiful truth about candles. One candle can light another, and that flame never diminishes. In fact, the light multiplies. If you light 10 candles from one flame, the first candle does not lose its brightness. Instead, the room becomes brighter. Similarly, when we share knowledge, kindness, and inspiration, we do not lose, we gain. Our value multiplies when we pass it on. That is why great people like saints, philosophers, and teachers are remembered. They lit flames in millions of hearts, and their light continues long after they are gone. Contrast this with people who only shine for themselves. They may look glamorous, but their light dies with them. A candle locked in a glass box, never lit, may remain perfect, but it serves no purpose. In the same way, A person who only lives for themselves may protect their life, but they leave behind no value. On the other hand, a candle that burns fully may reduce in size, but it gives warmth, light, and comfort. People may forget how the candle looked, but they will always remember the light it gave. Even in our relationships, we must choose to be like candles. When your friend is lost, be their guide. When your spouse feels low, be their encouragement. When your child feels afraid, be their reassurance. This does not mean solving every problem for them, but simply being a presence that illuminates their way. Just as a candle does not walk for you, but allows you to see where to step, we too must offer clarity and support so others can walk their paths. History is filled with candle-like figures. Buddha, Jesus, and Prophet Muhammad, none of them lived with the intention of showing off their brilliance. They gave light to those around them, and that light spread across centuries. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "In a gentle way, you can shake the world." His life was like a candle, gentle, glowing, but powerful enough to guide millions. So, my dear friends, remember this: to be valuable is not to shine the brightest for yourself, but to shine enough that others can find their way. In the end, people will not ask how much wealth you collected or how much applause you received. They will remember whether you brought light into their darkness. Be like a candle. Don't just exist for yourself. Burn with purpose, shine with humility, and light the lives of others. Even if your life seems small, even if your days seem ordinary, your light can make someone's world extraordinary. For true value is not in being seen, it is in helping others to see.